ومن والاه ومن تبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Inshallah, we have a very special night tonight. And with every event that we start with the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And please, Yasin, for the Yasin for.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون نحن أولياؤكم في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ولكم فيها ما تشتهي أنفسكم ولكم فيها ما تدعون نزلا من غفور رحيم. ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين. ولا تستوي الحسنة ولا السيئة ادفع بالتي هي أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم. وما يلقاها إلا الذين صبروا وما يلقاها إلا ذو حظ عظيم. وإما ينزغنك من الشيطان نزغ فاستعذ بالله إنه هو السميع العليم.
As for those who say, our Lord is Allah, and continue in the right way, the angels descend upon them, saying, fear not, nor be grieved, and receive good news of the garden which you were promised. We are your guardians in this world's life and in the hereafter, and you shall have therein what your souls desire, and you shall ask therein what you ask for. A provision from the forgiving, the merciful. And who speaks better than he who calls to Allah while he himself does good, and says, I am surely of those who submit. And not alike are the good and the evil. Repel evil with what is best when lo, he between whom and you was enmity would be as if he were a warm friend. And none are made to receive it but those who are patient. And none are made to receive it but those who have a mighty good fortune. And if an interference of the shaitan should cause you mischief, seek refuge in Allah. Surely he is the hearing, the knowing.
Jazakumullah khair. We have bad news. The guest speaker is not here yet.
He's here.
He's here? Okay, alhamdulillah, he's here. So, who knows what the title of today's event is? It's not a title of it. The topic is identity. Who am I? So the title is Who Am I? One issue that harms a lot of our youth today is the topic of identity crisis. So the topic of tonight will be concerning the identity crisis that some of our youth go through. Many of our youth are largely influenced by the media and our peers, so they have a very large influence on them. So society seems to always tell us how to dress, how to act, and how to live our lives. And so some of us get lost in the way. So our guest speaker for today is Rami Kawas. Who knows Rami Kawas? Show of hands. MashaAllah. So I guess think he doesn't need an introduction, but just a short bio about Rami Kawas. DJ? Okay. So, Rami Kawas is the Mass Youth Director of Brooklyn and Staten Island Subchapter. He is an inspirational speaker, and he spent a lot of time working with young Muslims. So without further ado, Rami Kawas.
Inshallah, since maybe he's praying, I think Isha or something, so until he comes up, I'll say why we chose those ayat. And when we were planning the event, we were saying which ayat from the Quran best fit this subject. And I was thinking, and these ayat came to mind. A lot of times these ayat are mentioned when we talk about da'wah. Especially the ayah says, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ. But in the end of the ayah, it says, وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. And the title of this event is, Who am I? And I think the best answer to this, إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. I am a Muslim. This is the best answer to this question. But this answer is heavy and it has a lot of meaning, it's deep. And inshallah, Brother Kawas will go deep into it today. But we know as a Muslim, it's not just a religion. A religion might be Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, but Islam is not just a religion. Religion is part of it, but Islam is a way of life. It's a comprehensive way of life. Islam deals with every aspect of life, that when you accept Islam as your way of life, you have to take guidance in every aspect, whether it's at work, whether it's at the family level, whether it's at society level, whether it's community work, whether you're doing anything in this life, Islam must be part of it, and you must take the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His messenger in that aspect. So many of the youth today, with all the challenges they face, with all the difficulties, with all the media and all the pressures they face in school, at work, many times they don't know who they are. And they want to try to fit in that society. And inshallah today he will go deep about this topic, but Islam is the answer. Always look for answers within Islam. All your problems, look for them under the title of Islam. So Brother Kawas is here, Brother Rami Kawas is here, so when the water comes, the tayammum is not valid anymore.
Assalamu alaikum. How's everybody doing? Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu ala rasulullah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammad rasulullah. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathira. And I'm leaving to Dallas in 2 weeks, and I'm very happy that I had to go through this experience of driving 2.5 hours of traffic to get here, so I know why I'm leaving. I'm leaving because of that traffic. Assalamu alaikum. I hope everybody's doing well. Begin by praising Allah, the Most High, the Most Exalted, the Most Honorable, the Most Merciful, the Most Magnificent, and testify to His oneness and greatness. We ask Him to guide us in our footsteps upon the teachings and the life of the Prophet ﷺ, and upon the divine guidance of Allah, His Quran, His book. We ask Allah to allow us to be gathered with the Prophet ﷺ. Again, I apologize tremendously for being late. I'm not someone that likes to be late at all. Again, New York City traffic will do that to you. So I'll dive right into it. It's actually my first time here for a program. It took I'm 27 years old. I've been working with Mass for 9 years. It took 9 years and 11 months and 3 weeks in New York for me to be invited to Brooklyn. Jazakallah khair, Abdul Rahman. It's probably my last time in the Bronx too. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we'll come. That was the time. Hope everybody's doing well. Inshallah, today I was asked to speak about identity crisis. I'm from Brooklyn, you guys are from Bronx. We have definitely major identity crises. So inshallah, we're not going to talk about the borough battles, but we're going to try to understand ourselves a little bit, inshallah, about what it means to have an identity. Who are we? Why are we here? And why do we have a problem understanding who we are and why we're here? And I think that this kind of starts very simply by the question of who are you? And if I were to ask you to take 5 seconds to think about who you are, forget your name, forget about where you came from, forget about where you're born, forget about what you're studying in college. If I were to ask you, who are you? What would your first reply be? Any takers? Muslim, okay, who said that? Who said Muslim? MashaAllah, it's the Sheikh here. It's Sheikh. Very good Sheikh. I like Sheikh. Okay, very good. What else? What else would you think? Da'i, very nice. Caller. What else? Yes?
Slave of Allah.
A slave, very good. Jazakallah khair, very nice. Yes?
A brother?
A brother. Alhamdulillah. Or else you would be sitting in the back if you're a sister, right? Any sisters in the back want to say something? Human, okay. Very good. Anybody else? Yes? American, okay, very nice, very good answers. So you are all attributing, subhanAllah, we all attribute something to ourselves that is, a little bit different, but it's very, very unique. But, essentially, my question was, because I asked the question because many times we don't think about who we are, because the answers to who we are always given to us. Right? As we go up from the age, from the very first time we come out of our mother's womb, we are told who we are. Right? You are told how to think, who you are, where you came from, how you're supposed to think, how you're supposed to act. And throughout our whole lives, from the age, from our parents until, we all went to school and we learned about a big fat, white-haired, white-bearded guy that wears a red coat and comes down a chimney and he gives out presents, right? Santa Claus, yes, right? And we all learn, somehow he comes down the chimney and he's still white, mashallah, like still white, it never turns black. So you're like, what is it about how we are taught who we are that is shaped by society? Because everything in our society shapes who we are. Everything that we learn, every interaction that we come to, from the age of our parents to school that we go to all these years, it'll come a point in your life where you realize sometime around, after probably high school, when you go to college, people start to wake up and start to think to themselves, who am I really? Why am I here? Where am I going? And these are 3 essential questions that every human has to have an answer to live a life that's meaningful and purposeful. Today, the autopsy of Robin Williams came out, if anybody was watching the news. And Robin Williams, man, he can make 500 people in a room laugh, but he killed himself because his life was miserable. It's the reality is, if people don't answer the question, who are you, why are you here, and where are you going, if you don't have a satisfactory answer to yourself, by yourself, to those questions, then your life is always incomplete. You always have a huge void in your life. And so the question of identity, who are we? I wanted to begin the answer by first and foremost understanding our dynamics as humans. Who are we? And Sister Jazakallah khair, she said, we are human. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, our Creator, He made it very clear that He created humans. And humans are different than the other creations that He has, because their existence was very unique. Their reason for existence is very unique. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, He makes it, go back to the origin. Who am I? My black, white, Yemeni, Palestinian. Who am I? Our true essence started long before any of these physical things existed. Before the color of our skin or before the language that we spoke, the first thing that existed from who we are is the thing that's deep inside of ourselves, the thing that makes us alive, is our souls. We are spiritual. You might have heard this quote probably on Facebook or Twitter or something. We are spiritual beings going through a physical experience. We are not physical beings trying to find a spiritual experience. Is that clear? We're spiritual beings. Our souls were the first part of us being created. And when did Allah Azza wa Jal create our souls? Anybody know? When did God Almighty create our souls? When we were born? 40 days after being conceived? 40 days after being conceived, the sister said in the back. Is that correct? 120 days. The brother said when Allah Azza wa Jal created Adam, can you tell me why? Like, how do you know that? وَإِذْ أَخَذَ رَبُّكَ. Very good. The verse in Surah Al-A'raf, Allah Azza wa Jal, He says that Allah took, on the mountain of Arafah, by the way, He took all of the souls of the sons of Adam and brought them to existence from Adam and had them all line up in front of Him. The trillions and billions of souls that would ever exist, they were all created as soon as Adam alayhi salam was created. And Allah Azza wa Jal gave them a command. أَلَسْتَ بِرَبِّكُمْ أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ قَالُوا بَلَى شَهِدْنَا. Allah Azza wa Jal asked these souls, trillions of souls, who is your master? They said, you, O Allah, is our master. Every single soul at that moment understood its purpose, why it was created, who it was created for, and what its reason for creation. Our souls were created long before this physical body that you look at in the mirror and take a selfie that bounces off of 15 mirrors and it's in the bathroom. But like the amount of selfies in the bathroom that I get on my Instagram is crazy, subhanAllah. Not sure if anybody else has that experience. That selfie, that thing that you see in the mirror, it never existed before your soul existed. And after you die, your body will be the food of maggots. The maggots are waiting patiently in the dirt to eat you. Very patiently. The worms and the maggots. This physical body won't exist, but what will continue to exist? Your soul. As a matter of fact, your soul came directly from the divine. Allah blew the soul into Adam and brought his dead, hollow body to life. And our bodies will die, but our souls will be the only thing that will exist for eternity. So what are we? Soul. Our first thing is our souls. Very good. We are souls, not wrapped up in gender. Before we were a gender, before we were a color, before we were ethnicity, before we were a major, before we were, I was from Brooklyn or Bronx, or I have this hood mindset or a country mindset or a white boy mindset. All of these things were just a part of the coming up. They are things that are ingrained into our brains, but we are first and foremost souls, divine, spiritual entities that existed before this physical being. So that's very, very important to understand. We have to understand that people, they neglect the soul more than anything else, right? The number one thing, the first part of an identity crisis is you not knowing who you are. And subhanAllah, if I bring this to kind of home terms, if you study colonization of people, what's happening in Palestine, what happened in the past to African Americans, a part of erasing a people's mindset of who they really are, a part of it is making them very confused, right? They don't understand why are we here? How is this our place? What is our heritage? What's our history? Why should we care? You had princes from Africa turned into nigger. You had them stripped of their language and their names and who they were so that they can be enslaved. Today, a very, very strong movement, and we learned about it today, subhanAllah, with Masjid al-Aqsa and all the things around Palestine. The thing you learn today about the Zionist movement, it is amazing in eradicating who Palestinians are. If you go up to any American, ask them, what's a Palestinian? They'd be like, oh, they live in Israel. Palestinians are from Israel. Yeah, we know them. What's their problem? Why are they so mad all the time? Why are they always killing themselves? You
eradicate or confuse the identity of a people to subjugate them. When Musa a.s. freed Bani Israel, because our minds are shaped the way we are brought up. You know, they give you from a biological perspective, when a dog is born, and it only has 3 legs, so it only walks on 3 legs, and it has children. When the children, they grow up and they have 4 legs, 4 functional legs, they walk only on 3. And they will walk like that the rest of their lives because they saw their mom. They're conditioned to just emulate whatever they're taught. The same thing with people, right? This Maslow's, when Allah Azza wa Jalla, He tells us about Bani Israel. I'm coming to a point here. When Allah Azza wa Jalla tells us about Bani Israel, the sons of one of the greatest humans ever exists, Jacob. When their people were enslaved, they were subjugated by Pharaoh, the most evil tyrant to ever exist. When they were subjugated and then Moses freed them, they walked through an ocean from one side to the other side, and then God drowned and He killed Pharaoh and all his troops. They were saved. When they got to the other side, what did they say? They saw people worshipping idols. So they're conditioned. It's like, we only know to worship. We only see people worshiping. We only see people are always looking up to men or buildings or statues. So the mind of a mind of somebody that's colonized, that's conformed to have a particular way of thinking and living and perceiving the world, all it understood was, hey Moses, I know you just did that cool thing back there with the ocean. That was nice. But can we have idols to worship like these people? They're just the mindset of being colonized. The mindset of being confused is a part of people never understanding their identity. When people are confused, they never understand who they are. And that's why the biggest trick of shaitan, the ultimate colonizer of people's minds and hearts, yuwaswisu fi sudur nas, his ultimate job is to make sure humans don't realize they're spiritual beings. And that's why we neglect our souls. People are so focused on fitness and health and eating organic and all the things that have to do with body tests and blood cholesterol and diabetes, all that stuff. But when you ask them, so what about your soul? They're like, what? You want me to feed my soul? You want me to nurture you want me to exercise my soul? I don't understand that. I don't understand how to do that. And you can live the most healthiest life, 6-pack, mashallah, whatever it is, and then, or like Robin Williams, the kid Robin, make 500, make 5,000 people in the audience laugh, but he's the most depressed dude in the room. No soul, no understanding of who you truly are. Number one thing is understanding that we are spiritual beings, and everything that enhances our souls, everything that brings us a better understanding of what our soul is and how we take care of it, is the most essential knowledge we can learn in life. Doesn't matter how many PhDs we have, how many doctors, engineers, and lawyers we can have. If people are neglected of who they really are, their spiritual being, who they are inside, they can never find out. They will always be involved in an identity crisis. They will never know who they truly are. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, He tells us, the reason why Allah talks to prophets, and the reason why Allah just sent Quran down, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُبَيِّنَ لَكُمْ. See, the first part is to make us understand who we are. And that's why revelation is sent. That's why prophets are sent. That's why books are sent. That's why miracles are given to people, so that people can find themselves, so that we can truly be guided. So number one, guidance for our souls. We can talk a little bit, inshallah, towards the end of how we can improve the elements of our souls and things like that. But that's number one. Number two, after we figure out we're spiritual beings, our job is to take care of these souls. We are truly our souls, all the things that have to do with building and nurturing and taking care of the soul. Then what comes after that? See, Allah Azza wa Jalla, He kind of puts it in the order that He wants us to kind of learn it with the first revelations that were sent. The first revelation to ever be sent was Quran. Was Iqra. Iqra means attain knowledge. Understand who you are, understand why, and understand your purpose. Come to an understanding of who you are. Number one, that's very good. And then after that, what came down? Ya ayyuhal Anybody? Second. There's some difference of opinion on what it was, but most people say it was this. Ya ayyuhal muddathir qum fa'anzir. O you who are covered, when the Prophet ﷺ came down the mountain running after revelation was cut off for a couple of days or weeks, came down running to the mountain, he saw Jibreel in the horizon, he went running to his wife, he covered himself up, Jibreel came down and he told him, Ya ayyuhal muddathir qum fa'anzir. O you who are covered and hiding, stand and anzir, warn. Now subhanAllah, there's so much wisdom in the Quran and elements of the Quran, but you know what the second commandment essentially is telling the Prophet ﷺ? He's scared for his life, right? He's worried, he doesn't know what he's experiencing. He's worried about his life. But Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling him, hey listen, get up and warn and worry about other people's lives. Don't worry about your life. The second most important part of our identity as people who understand we're spiritual beings enslaved to God is that Allah Azza wa Jalla didn't make our souls for no reason. Not just so that we can care about our souls, but Allah Azza wa Jalla created these souls and brought them to earth for a very high goal. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ. When Allah Azza wa Jalla told the angels, before Adam was created, إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ Khalifa. O angels, O perfect beings who do no wrong, who worship me day and night, who are holy and great in nature, I will create an entity that will live on earth that will be a Khalifa. Now, Khalifa has many terms, of course, but the best kind of, or the one I'm trying to get across to you is, a Khalifa is a caretaker for what?
People. What before them? A flock.
I'm sorry?
A flock. Who before them?
A flock, those before them. إِنِّي جَعَلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ Khalifa. I've made for the earth an ambassador, a guardian, a person that I have sent to make sure that they take care of this entity of mine for me. You cannot have an identity as a person of the spiritual being. You have to understand that you are here just to work for the care and the nurture and the development of the earth. That's why Allah has put us here. Before Jannah, forget Jannah. I know Jannah's home and we're going to go back inshallah. But Jannah is like, that's like a perk, right? That's, when you get that huge mansion in Jannah where you swim with dolphins and it's like liquid chocolate, right? And you get to like eat whatever you want. That's just a perk. That's just like a reward, jaza'an wifaqa. That's just like a thank you. But really your job is here, earth. Your responsibility first and foremost is to earth. And you are not responsible for yourself on earth. You're responsible for the earth. See, the first message that Allah gave to guide humanity, when He was guiding the Prophet, and the last message of humanity was that they needed to learn that they don't live for themselves. You don't live for your community. You don't live for your color, your country. You don't live for your ethnicity. You don't live for your religion. You live for the world and to take care of the world and to be an ambassador of the divine, of the Creator for the world. And that's why when the Muslims, when Rabi' bin Amir, a great companion, when he was told to come to the castle of one of the Persian governors, when the Muslims were they're expanding, when he walked, he was barely wearing any nice clothes. He was dragging, the stories are very fun. He was dragging the spear. He didn't take his weapons off. He brought his donkey in. So he goes up and he's standing in front of this guy on like a throne. And he's telling him, what do you Arabs want? Like, why are you Arabs here? What do you guys, man, you don't have oil yet. You don't care about invading your country. You have nothing. Why are you coming to our gates? We're the largest, or at the time, one of the most powerful empires on earth. What do you guys want from us? And he told them the phrase, see, the early Muslims that were guided by Allah, they didn't have identity crisis. He understood. He told him, we are people that are here لِنُخْرِجَ الْعِبَادِ مِنْ عِبَادَةِ الْعِبَادِ إِلَى عِبَادَةِ رَبِّ الْعِبَادِ. Listen, Mr. Governor, sir, people are slaves to many things. They're slaves to money, power, fame, their Instagram, their phone, their honeys, their bays, their whatever, I don't know. Instagram, they're enslaved to so many things. We are here to free them of all of this slavery into the slavery or being slaves of the creator of the universe. And to free them from the narrowness of life, like just work, bills, living box. You know, we live box to box, right? You guys know, like humans, they think they have a nice life. They go from one box to another box to another box. Every day you're in a box. This is just a box. Four walls and a roof. You go from one box, then you go to another box, then you sleep in a box, then you come out of a box, then you go. And you know, a couple minutes we stand outside and look at the moon and say, MashaAllah, what an amazing moon. Right? May Allah. A part of our problem in living in cities, that's why you go to the house, is that you don't even get to look up and see the stars and the moon and say, Subhanallah, Subhanalladhi khalaqak. Right? We don't even get that opportunity. But anyway, every day we live inside from box to box and we have so much stress in these boxes. Like, come to the masjid, man, these people smell, your feet are stinky in front of me. I go to work, I hate my boss, I hate my co-workers, I hate the business, I hate the boss. I hate it. It's like every, and then I go home and I hate my wife, I hate my daughter. I'm hopefully not that bad, but it's like there's so much stress in life. What do we stress out about? Go outside and look at the moon and say, Alhamdulillah, life is good, right? We always feel in some type of way. And every single time humans are stuck in this system, Allah has to send them guidance to tell them, listen, we are here to free you from the stress of life into the expanse of this life and the next life. See, this sounds, Rib'i is giving a vision that humans have never heard. Like humans never understood people can have such a vision. And then he tells him, and to free the people from the oppression of adyan. Adyan are not religions. Adyan are ideologies that control human life. To free the people from all these oppressive ideologies into the justice of Islam. That's why we're here. Is this somebody that only cares about their Instagram and how many likes they got? Is this somebody that only cares about what kind of shoes they're wearing and how much they spent in Hollister yesterday at the mall? Is Rib'i someone that cares about how much money's in the bank account or what kind of car he's driving? Or how big his house is? Doesn't care at all. He cares about the earth and everyone on it and his responsibility towards it. That is a very clear identity. There's no confusion. Our responsibility of being spiritual beings on earth are not to enjoy ourselves, not to, what's the song goes, every night in the club with the thugs, something like that, I don't know, right? It's not to emulate Wayne or B or J or I don't know. It's none of those. It's not to be obsessed and play X1 for 15 hours in a row. Man, I didn't even close my eyes, man. I played Call of Duty for like 19 straight hours. I didn't blink. SubhanAllah. Guinness World Record. You watch, you could watch Netflix. You could watch a series in like a night. Oh, I finished Walking Dead. Move, bam, banged it out real quick. You'd be like, SubhanAllah, that's not what life is about. That's how life became to us. But life is about not the entertainment and the indulgence, but it's about truly caring about others. It's about the obsession with worrying about the world and the care of the world. See, Muslims, one of the great things they've done to Muslims is that they've made Muslims so scared to be Muslim that we can no longer want to free the world. We don't even want to be Muslim. We don't even want to say Assalamu alaikum when we walk by somebody. It's like, brother, you always experience it. You can walk by a Muslim brother, he's scared to say Assalamu alaikum. Scared to say, how you doing? We got to do Halloween and dress like shayateen because it's like, I don't want people to think like I'm not Muslim. We're so enslaved away from our true message of why we're here, our true identity of existing, that we've completely forgot our purpose, why we're here, our heritage, why we were sent, why those that were sent. And that's why Allah Azza says, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُبَيِّنَ لَكُمْ وَيَهْدِيَكُمْ سُنَنَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. Second part, this is an important part of this, is that you understand those that came before you, what they did to bring you here, Can you imagine a man in the middle of the desert, no internet, you can't imagine no internet, no Wi-Fi, no iPhone, right? You can't imagine a world like that, right? You'd fall apart. No running water, no hot water. Oh my God, no light. Can you imagine a man that lived in the middle of the desert, sent a message to the world, me and you are here, it's November 7, 2014, because he decided to dedicate his life for the world? See, it's an amazing person, but we don't even know how to spell his name. That's the problem with identity. You lack the understanding of your history, your heritage, why you're here, your purpose, where you're going, and so your identity gets hijacked from you. The last thing, inshallah ta'ala, the third phase, spiritual beings, responsible for the earth, and very, very well aware that we will leave this earth and meet our true end. It's not about earth. It's not about life. It's not about the 100 years. It's about the true meeting with Allah Azza wa Jalla. I'll give you a story, try to slow it down a little bit. There was a man, once upon a time, young man, he's lost in the forest. Maybe, I don't know, Walking Dead or something, right? He's kind of lost in the forest. You guys watch Walking Dead? It's a nice show. I do like it. I started watching it. Not obsessed, but alhamdulillah. So he's walking in the middle of the forest, lost, completely, has no idea where he is. Some jungle somewhere. So, as he's walking, he sees a huge tiger jump out in front of him. He's in the jungle, okay? He's not in Bronx. He sees a huge tiger jump out in front of him. So he's like, put that face on, his emoji face, like, oh Allah, oh my Allah, right? He's scared, right? Straight. He sees the tiger and he starts running. You should never run when an animal's around, right? Just get eaten sitting quietly. So he starts running. So what does the tiger do? The tiger starts chasing him. He starts running, tiger's chasing him. He's running, tiger's chasing him. He's running, tiger's chasing him. He leaves the forest and he sees a big field. And he sees a well in the middle of the field. He starts running full speed. Tiger's chasing him. He jumps into the well. He holds onto the rope. He jumps and dives into the well, holding onto the rope. And he sees the tiger come right to the mouth of the well, and he roars in. Tigers don't roar. Gotcha. Tigers don't roar. Lions roar. Okay, he got to the mouth of the well, and the tiger's right there. Climbs down into the well, and he's like, Alhamdulillah, Ya Allah, Bismillah, MashaAllah. He's just saying stuff. He doesn't know what it's how we are. Right? Before a test, orgo test. Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, MashaAllah, whatever. We say anything. That's how I was with orgo. So he gets into the middle well, he's holding onto the rope, he sees the lion, he says, Alhamdulillah, Allah saved me from this tiger. He starts to go down to the well, he looks into the bottom of the well as he goes down, and he sees the biggest anaconda on earth underneath him, swimming in the water. Anaconda, huge snake, swimming underneath him. So he goes down, he's like, oh Allah, what's going on, right? What the heck is going on? So he climbs back up, sees the tiger still there, and he's kind of stuck in the middle of the well holding onto this rope. Tiger above him, anaconda below him, and he's kind of stuck. So then, out of nowhere, miraculous, it's like he's dreaming, a black and white mouse, I'm not racist, I'm just telling you the story. They come out of their hole and they walk across the ledge to the rope and they start eating the rope. So guy, middle of the forest, lost, hanging onto the rope, tiger, anaconda, and now these two daggone mice are eating the rope. And he's hanging there. And then he knows, like, man, this is what kind of, like, what am I supposed to do, right? No apps for this. I can't press a button for them. So he's stuck, and then all of a sudden, miraculously, right in front of him, in the well, he sees a huge bowl of hot fudge sundae with bananas and strawberries and hot fudge and whipped cream all over with a cherry on top right in front of him in the well. And so he's so amazed by this cup, this bowl of ice cream. So he puts his finger in and he takes a little part and he brings it to his mouth and he tastes it and he says, wow, that's delicious.
and he starts to eat, holding one hand, tiger, anaconda, mice, and he's eating with one finger this ice cream in front of him. And what does this describe? One great scholar, he mentions this story. He says, Muhammad Ghazali, he says, this is the story of life. This is how life works. This is what life is. Life, every single day, we're kind of lost in this jungle looking to find ourselves. And every single day, subconsciously, without thinking, you know what's the first, you know when you wake up in the morning, you know what's the first thing on your to-do list for the day? Anybody know? What is your, just throw it out. What's the first thing you have to do in the morning when you wake up? Bathroom? Okay, bathroom, okay. Alhamdulillah ladhi ahyana, mashallah, this Sheikh. Yes?
Breathe.
Breathe, of course, you think about breathing. Yeah. To-do list. Pray, whatever, I gotta go to work, I gotta go to school, whatever. I gotta do a project, whatever I do. Most people, the first thing they do, they roll out of bed and they look at their phone. Right? So most people. 99.9% is like, who texted me? I can't wait to see. Right? I don't know. Oh, who liked my Instagram overnight? I just need to stalk this brother because he was so handsome. Did he like it today or didn't he like it today? I don't know. I gotta find out. That's probably what we think. So rolls out of bed. What is the first thing on your mind? You know what the first thing on every human's mind every single day? You don't say it. It's subconscious. Make sure you don't die today. Make sure you wake up and breathe so you don't die. Make sure you wake up and you eat so you don't die. Make sure you go to the bathroom so you don't blow up. Make sure you look both ways when you cross the street. Make sure you're very careful when you're standing next to the train. I'm not standing on the ledge, I'm standing as far away from the ledge as possible. Make sure every single day, it's a part of our agenda. It's not, we don't say it out loud. We don't write it down. We don't have it as a reminder on our iPhone. But it's subconscious. Don't die today. Okay? Make sure you do everything you can not to die. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He tells us, every day we run away from death. The tiger is a similitude metaphor of death. Every single day of our life we run away from death. قُلْ إِنَّ الْمَوْتَ, what's the verse? الَّذِي تَفِرُّونَ مِنْهُ فَإِنَّهُ, He will find you. See that thing that you run away from every single day? Keep running, He'll find you at the end. He's at the finish line. Run the marathon. He's waiting at the finish line. Every day we live not to die, but yet we will die. The tiger will chase us. Anaconda is a thing that we walk over every single day. We're standing over it right now. It's the very snake that will swallow us into our stomach and we think nothing about it. Millions of people are buried underneath your feet. Do you know their names? No. Do you hear their whispers? No. But millions of people, and us included, will one day be in the belly of this anaconda, which is the earth that you walk over every day. And the black and white mouse? Day and night. Sun comes up, it won't come back again. Night comes, it won't come back again. November 7, 2014 will never exist after today. It won't happen again. No deja vus, no Groundhog Days. No spaceships, no time machines. As much as you might think. Every day that goes will never come back. Every day a little bit of your rope, a little bit on the shot clock above your head. I don't know if the Knicks are playing tonight, but you guys probably don't want to watch the Knicks. The shot clock above your head, it's going down. And it will hit triple zeros. And every single day that clock gets a little bit less. Until it's triple zeros, the buzzer rings. That's it, it's over. And yet every single human runs from the tiger, lives over the anaconda, has the rope and the black and white mouse, and yet every day we only indulge in what Abu Hamid al-Ghazali says, dunya, fantasy football, and NFL, and music, and games, and movies, and work, and school, and projects, and exams, and trips, and teachers, and our boys when they're hanging out, what we're eating tonight, what's going on today, it's Friday night, why am I over here in the masjid, what am I doing over here, like, everything in life is that ice cream. And all we're doing is eating too much diabetes, high pressure, everything. We're killing ice cream, and we don't understand that the most important part of life is the next life.
is everything that will come after, everything that we are responsible for and accountable for to Allah in the next life. The life that if you live 100 years in this life, if you put 100 and you divided it by eternity, did it mean anything? It's negligible, right? It means nothing. Zero. Actually, it's not zero. It's 0.0 and a trillion zeros. There's no one. I can't even see one. One's not in the picture. Our lives are meaningless compared to the next life. And so our spiritual beings in charge of the earth, understanding that our true life is in the next life, not here. We can want the games, we can want the desire, we can want all the illusions, but at the end of the day, everything that comes in the next life is the true life. It's real life. It's everything, nothing that we can take with us. You guys ever heard the story of the man that married 3 wives? I'll tell you guys the story of the man that married 3 wives. And by the way, I'm not for polygamy or anything like that. I'm not saying that to be like a chauvinistic or any way be, be degrading, but I'm just getting a point of a story. I say that only when the sisters are here. Number 1, old man on his deathbed. He has 3 wives. First wife loved her so much. Beautiful, young, amazing. He gave her the most attention, but she didn't even look twice at him. She hated him, despised him. She didn't care about him much. So as he's dying, he tells her, honey, please, I have one final request before I die. She says, okay, what is it? He says, please, when they put me down in the coffin and they bury me, I want you to come and sleep next to me. Come down into the coffin with me. Please. I love you and I care about you so much, and you were the world to me. Please come down into the coffin and be buried with me. She does what every cougar does. She divorces him, takes half his money, and runs away. Right? She's like, get the heck out of here. She takes all his money, she goes and travels somewhere. Second wife. Second wife, she was, in Brooklyn, we say she was I, right? She was I, right? She's I. Her personality is I, her looks I. She's all I. She's just I. You understand? You guys understand what I mean? For the older brothers, they don't understand. She's okay. So he treated her like she was okay, cared about her, showed her a little attention, whatever. But she was always I, whatever. But she kind of liked him, but he was I to her too. So he asked her, honey, please, darling, babe, sweetie, darling, I'm about to die. Please, when they put me in the grave, I want you to come down and sleep next to me. Be with me. Let them bury you with me. She said, are you crazy? Not enough morphine in the IV today? I'll come with you I'll put you there. I'll cry, but I'm leaving. It's okay, fine. Then the third wife comes. Third wife, I want to say this in Brooklyn, she was not I. She was like, usually, we put something, whatever, anyway. So she was, right? He treated her like he didn't care, like he hated her. I can't believe him even with her. But she comes to he's like, honey, I know I don't like you, I don't treat you well, I didn't care about you, but I'm about to go, they're about to put me in that grave. Would you be willing to come and stay with me down there? She's like, of course, honey. Of course, honey. Of course, honey. I'm going to come with you. I'm going to be down there. That's metaphor, again. The third thing, first wife, I had a sister that passed away. You guys came to 6 Flags, right? Sister that passed away, Noor. She was from our community. She was from the center, volunteer. 15 years old. She went to 6 Flags. She had a good time. She didn't come back from 6 Flags, right? She passed away in a car accident. 15 years old. She should be taking PSATs probably tomorrow. Anybody taking PSATs tomorrow? She should be planning what she wants to do for college. But she didn't come back. She was taken. And you know what the amazing thing is? We had a brother pass away earlier. You know what the amazing thing? You always hear this over and over. What do we do with her clothes? What do we do with her books? Her toys? Her games? Her socks?
What do I do with her jacket? What do I do with her sweater? What do I do with her bed? What do I do with her closet?
Pass it on.
That's it, it's gone, right? It's not yours. Where does your money go when you die? Somebody else's pocket. Where does your car go? Somebody else's driving. Where does your house go? Somebody else is living in it. Where does your money go? Where does your clothes go? Where's your everything that you have? None of it. She will divorce you like a dirty old man. That's dunya. And everything in it. Your phone, your games, socks you're wearing right now, they're not coming with you to your grave. They're not coming anywhere close to exit 7 off the turnpike. Nowhere close. They're going to be far away. Second wife, she was aight. It's your mom, your dad. You always treat them like they're aight. Your brother, your sister, definitely aight. You kind of like them, but they're aight. You aight, and I'm aight to you, and you're aight to me. Your uncle, your cousins, your grandfather, your grandmother, you care about them. You say, we get together every now and then. You can only stand them for like an hour and a half at dinner. Actually, that's too much, right? When you have like a Sunday gathering with your family, you can only be with them for like maybe 35 minutes. Like your pop, man. I can only do this for like 35 minutes. I know you're my pop and everything, but I can only sit and talk to you and stand in front of you for like 30, 25. 15 minutes, bro. But the Jets are about to lose their 15th game in a row. Like, I gotta go watch that. You're not that important. You're just I. Mom, you I. Sister, brother, you I. Everybody's always I. Those people that are alright in your family, they're your family, second wife, they come, they cry, they'll take you to your grave, but ain't nobody going down there with you. They're not gonna come down anywhere close to the bottom of the pit that you will be buried in. They don't care. Last wife, the ugly one, your salah that you hated to do 5 o'clock in the morning. Your reading of the Quran for just 5 minutes. Coming to the Masjid Friday, not just an hour. It's hot, I know it's a little snug, I know. But it's just an hour. Getting up in the morning and praying, walking to the masjid, coming at night to pray, helping your parents, doing an activity at school, participating, volunteering, giving back, giving food, giving charity, walking by a bum and dropping $1. All of these things, they're so ugly to us. It's like, you want me to give $1? Brother? You want me to donate, buy you a hot dog? You want me to say subhanallah walking down the stairs? It's so ugly, but it's the only wife that will come. It's the only thing, it's the only spouse that will be there, as the Prophet said, it's the first living creature that you see in your grave. For some people, it will be so beautiful. It's like you're all alone and you just want somebody to kick you. Like, man, this is a nice, it's a part of Jannah. It's not Jannah, but it's like really big and it's spacious. And it's nice. Man, I wish somebody was here. Boom, somebody pops up. Beautiful looking, nice smelling. It's like, yo man, what's good? Who are you? I'm your good deeds. I'm that ugly wife. You saw me ugly back then, but I'm so beautiful now. You're like, subhanAllah, everything in our lives don't mean nothing in comparison to the next life that we live. The next realm that we will exist in. Everything in life is not important compared to that. And so all of these 3 things, they're essential in not being confused and not being depressed, not having anxiety, not knowing what you're doing in life or where you're going or how you're going to get there. If you have these 3 essential things, take care of your soul. Do everything that nurtures and cares for your soul. Everything that's from the divine, every guidance, every good, every food, whether it's Quran or anything that guides your soul and feeds your soul, do it. Fasting feeds your soul. It starves your body, but it feeds your soul. Praying at night or you're making your salah, it feeds your soul. Standing and caring about the world and everybody in it. Don't care about yourself. Care about the people around you. Care about their health, their experience, your neighbor, your co-worker. Care about the good that you can bring to their life. That's the message of Islam. It's not about having them just say La ilaha illallah. It's about you living La ilaha illallah so they can have a better life. And last but not least is understanding that everything in our life is really means nothing. It's haba and manthura, right? It just flies away. And everything that's really worth anything is what we prepare for the next life. The real perk of existence
is everything that's prepared for the next life. And those are 3 essential ingredients to having a good understanding of who you are. Forget your name, forget your age, forget how tall or short you are. These 3 things can better shape your life and make you figure out who you really are. Not who someone else tells you to be. Not who you're conforming your life to. Not who you're enslaved to. But who you really are is only found through these 3 elements and ingredients. With them, I ask and I hope and I pray that we can truly all find the reason for our purpose in our creation and find our mission in life, because each of us has a mission that Allah hopes and wants from us. Maybe it's not to be like a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. It's probably something much greater than that if we were just to open our minds to that reality. And last but not least is obviously our appointment and our meeting with our Lord and our Creator and our Maker, the one that's the most merciful, the most loving, and the most forgiving, the one that anticipates us turning to Him. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُبَيِّنَ لَكُمْ وَيَهْدِيَكُمْ سُنَنَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ وَيَتُوبَ عَلَيْكُمْ. Allah only wants for you to turn to Him so He can turn to you and you can go back to Him. Jalla fi ula. I ask Allah to allow us to have these 3 essential ingredients. We'll take some questions inshallah ta'ala. We have like 4 or 5 minutes. Are there any questions or comments so that I can
Who's the first wife again?
close? The first,
What does she represent?
dunya, life and everything in it. All the luxuries of life. Right? Clothing, food, accessories, your beats, cap, hair, Jordans, your watch, that kind of stuff. Second one is family and those that you care about. Third is obviously your good deeds. Or the deeds, the good that you leave on earth. Or the good that you've done for the next life. Okay, very good, yes?
What did you do to be in your what you do? How did you get
Humans?
no a job?
Me?
Personally, yeah.
Oh man, I'm a nobody schmuck dude kid just from Brooklyn. I'm moving to Dallas too. I don't know that. I'm the youth director for Brooklyn. I'm not sure. I've been the youth director for Brooklyn Stand Out for a couple of years now. Alhamdulillah. I've kind of been working in the youth work, Islamic work for a little while, and hopefully I hope to continue in Dallas inshallah. Everybody's responsible for their own, studying and advancing themselves. Very, very important that every day inshallah we learn a little bit and grow a little bit.
School like for this, right?
Did I go to school for this? Nah, man. I'm just a kid from Brooklyn, I told you. There's nobody. Just whatever I've learned, just something small I want to share with you. What's going on?
As far as like bettering the community, how you got the Brooklyn community down pat, improving this community.
That's right. Can you say that again a little bit louder? Just want to make sure everybody heard that.
I said you got the Brooklyn community
Down pat, mashallah. That's why I'm abandoning it.
But I mean, as far as bettering this community, the Muslim community, and also the people around us too, to influence them, what kind of activities would you recommend doing?
Start by putting shoes on the shelf. That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Everything in Islam came to be shaped a certain way. It's a culture, right? The Prophet ﷺ taught us a culture of how to live. Everything, I said this last week in a khutbah. I said, Islam came to how to architect bathrooms, right? Even that little thing, what the architecture of a toilet is told to us in Islam. So it sounds a bit weird, but really it's about a culture that you build of wanting to be good, right? Wanting to implement Islam in its totality, right? Mercy and kindness between people. Organization and having simple things, caring about people, doing things, setting up whatever different programs for young people, for old people, for children, for non-Muslims, inside and outside, caring about people. So there's a variety of things that we can do, definitely. But there's enough work to be done in every field. So I recommend if you do start, I was being funny with the shoes, but I really mean you should start with the shoes. You should start by creating what Islam taught in the beginning. and understanding, a good understanding of what Islam, like good knowledge and understanding. It's not about memorizing things, but it's about having a good understanding of life and the teachings of Islam, and then implementing the first commandments of Islam in the Quran. We're helping people, orphans, needy, community, people that are underprivileged, people that need support and help, those that are minorities, whatever. So creating whatever projects you have, young people, old people, to give back to the community, to help serve, to help change, to help fix. These are all important parts. And at the same time, you're developing people, right? We develop each other, and then we work on helping others in those natures. So I'm not really answering your question. You guys have good leadership here. But it's a comprehensive package. It requires knowledge, it requires doing things in the community, and it requires, obviously, a part of that too is having a very strong spiritual connection to Allah. All of the three are essential ingredients for building a work in a community. Wallahu a'lam. But you guys have a good support. But it really, most of the time, it just needs people to volunteer and give back and help. It's not about the lack of work to be done. It's the lack of people that are willing to commit themselves to doing that work. Wallahu a'lam. Yes.
I feel like a lot of youth, like especially in their teenage years, they have this idea that like just because I'm not like a doctor or an engineer, I can have an impact on anything. So do you have any like examples or like words of encouragement for people within that age so that they act, so that there's some examples how they can have an influence?
The Ummah will never, our Muslim community, the Ummah of Islam, the Ummah will come to life with only doctors, engineers, and lawyers, right? It's never going to happen. Many people, they think that way, but it's never going to happen that way, right? Allah Azza wa Jalla gave each of us a different ability. Every single, me and you and everybody that's listening to me and every human has a specific thing that God gave them, to us only specifically, that it's our job to use for Him. In all the different atmospheres, at things that it can be, right? It's our job to find out what it is. Most people, they don't find out. Most people, unfortunately, they flush their life down the toilet, or their talents, or who they are. Or they try to be something that they're not. Really good in this, but he became an architect, works 7 to 9, and God bless his soul. Like, okay, so what did you do? It's really about finding out who you are. Very hard. It's about an identity crisis. After you figure out, like, why am I here, and all these are, by the way, those are aqidah things. All the things I mentioned, they are the essence of what aqidah, the word aqidah means. Aqidah just means the way you perceive life, the way you view life, and how you understand it. That's a very important part. That's the first part. But then after you figure out world and everything and why I'm here, now I'm figuring out, okay, what am I supposed to do? That's a part of introspection. Really digging into yourself. Forget what your mom and dad say. This sounds really bad. Alhamdulillah, there's no mom and dads here. They are? Oh, astaghfirullah, I can't say that. Kindly, gently, mercifully, don't be forced into something because your parents told you to do it. Because at the end of the day, too many times, people are trying to live somebody else's life. Somebody wanted to be something and they tell you to be it. I've gone through that, I'm only 27. In the past 5 years, every time I talk to somebody, they tell me to be what they are. SubhanAllah. I try to get, what should I study? Study what I'm studying, right? It's good. I like myself. So you be like me, okay? Rappers are the same way, artists are the same way, fashion design, everybody just wants you to imitate them. As a matter of fact, Shaitan wants humanity just to imitate him. Be arrogant, be prideful, be deceiving, or have misdemeanors against God. It's the same thing. So you have to figure out what your special talent is in life, and you have to use that not only for your deen, but for your life. Because deen is life, and we don't confuse the two. Everything in our life, qul inna salati, is the most famous verse that we always hear. My life and my death is all for Allah. So you have something in your life that you're supposed to serve this earth with it. How can you find it? You can get people, mentors, people to help you out, people that truly care, people that have the talents and ability to do that. But you have to figure out what that is. Some people, they can write. Some people, they can draw. Some people, they can speak. And some people, they can write books. Some people, they can make cartoons. Wallahi, the ummah is missing cartoons for children to be raised that are good quality cartoons. We don't need a doctor for that. We need people that are journalists that can write for the New York Post. Because I don't think you guys read the New York Post. It's like you can put it in the stalls downstairs, the New York Post, right? How can we develop and find certain skills that we have, harness them, develop them, focus on them, discipline in them, and then become great? That's our job to do. So it's an excellent question, but that's everybody's job to find out what that is. And every single person has that thing. You just have to dig deep and find it. Well, some people it's being great dads, great moms, being great Quran teachers, whatever it is. Everybody has to. And by the way, good leaders, they find that in their people. Good leaders, like the Prophet ﷺ, if you study the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ put people in their positions for them to excel and be great. That's a special thing that leaders have a very good job at. Putting people in the right positions to excel. And that's a very, very important part of that. So a mentor or somebody to help you out. Good question, Akram. Yes?
Do you consider those people who are genuinely self-confident, including like the kafirin, to be confused by society as well?
Shape the question a little bit better. I'm not really understanding what you're asking.
Well, because like we were talking about in the beginning about being confused, identities like you're being like confused.
Right. Having right, trying to find out who you are, correct?
Right. So if there's like, you very rarely you hear people say that, oh, I don't care about what society thinks about me, and,
correct,
and so on and so forth. So are those people all, even though maybe if they're like kafirin, are they also still confused about who they are?
It's a good question. So all people are naturally, the Prophet told us, what Islam teaches is that all people are born with the innate understanding of who they are, right? It's a default part of our software, that when we're born, we understand that we are creatures of the Creator, right? It's a natural part, it's what we call the fitra, it's that natural disposition. And then that's changed as we are conformed through society's levels, correct? So every person is responsible for finding out that true essence of themselves, like I told you, finding out that they're spiritual beings, that are here for the care, spiritual beings that are slaves of the Creator, right? That are here for the care of the earth, that understand that their journey ends with their Lord, right? So that's everybody's individual responsibility, right? And that's why God sends prophets and Quran and messages, and that's why we're here. That's our job, to convey that to people in a way that they can understand and comprehend. So that's important. Your question about self-confidence, so is that clear? So what is it about self-confidence? If somebody kind of already figured it out, they think?
Well, like many of those people, like you said, with the mentality of having that physical being with just like physical being first, then spiritual.
Okay, right.
Those people are still supposedly confident about
life.
Not just their, exactly.
Yeah,
life and their physical.
absolutely. And that's why it's our job. People, yeah. Do you ever go up to somebody and who walks around saying to people, yeah, I'm always wrong. I'm always wrong, man. I'm never right in my life. I'm wrong on everything I believe is wrong. Nobody walks around like that, right? Everybody thinks that what they believe in is correct, right? I think LeBron sucks. You think LeBron's the greatest basketball player ever in the history of humanity. It's probably somewhere in the middle, right? But you understand my point? We humans argue about everything, or have an opinion on everything, especially nowadays. But we humans have to get to a level of humility where they're able and willing to accept. And if I ask you a question, and this just to give you an understanding, who here is willing to leave Islam for something better? Raise your hand.
Sorry.
Who here is willing to leave Islam for something better than Islam?
Is there something better?
Very good question. So nobody raised their hand. But the question is, most people, and when you go to a Christian or a Jew or a Buddhist or atheist, they think the same things like, come on, what are you talking about? But really how people should think is there something better? What is it? Show me, prove it to me. Give me something. Like, let me think. I'm not gonna be closed-minded. I'm gonna be open. I'm gonna use my brain to think about what it is. And if it makes sense to me, okay. If not, no thanks. That's the responsibility of every human. And even Muslims. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He tells us, Allah challenges us in the Quran. How many times in the Quran do you read the Quran? Allah has challenged us to think about the sun or the moon or water or plants or trees because Allah always wants us to continue to think. Like, look at this creation, that creation. Because once we stop thinking, we stop growing. So it's every human's responsibility to think about and find that answer for themselves. And to continue to find that right answer. You need humility, right? You need to have an open mind. You need to be willingness. So the question isn't, I'm willing to leave Islam, right? Tell me what is better than Islam. And prove it to me rationally so that I can consider it. Alhamdulillah, for myself particularly, I believe in Islam because I know Islam is a fact. And every single one of us, you should come to the realization of, man, I have true belief in this. And Allah, He tells us in the Quran, Allah, He tells us of people, He tells the Muslim, Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. It's an interesting ayah. Allah says, oh, you who believe, man, you gotta believe. What does that mean? It's like, man, be true. قالت الأعراب آمنا. The Arabs, they said, no, we believe. Allah just said, hey, listen, you don't really believe yet. It's not 100% pure yet. SubhanAllah, that's a part of our responsibility towards our iman and belief in Allah. Okay? Makes sense? You need humility for that. You need certain things for that. Yes, brother. Actually, let me get a question from the sisters if you don't mind, because I didn't give them an opportunity. Any questions from the sisters? Yes, in the back, sister.
What would be a good method or technique for the young people who are bombarded with the media? How can they meet that challenge from faith point of view? How can they combat that?
Jazakallah khair, a very good question. Are you talking about the stereotypes in the media and people shying away from Islam and things of that sort?
No, I'm thinking about our Muslim youth looking at the other non-Muslims with all of their trappings and wanting to be like them, to be accepted.
Jazakallah khair. So that's definitely a part of our society, right? The idea of, did you guys watch the video of the woman that was walking through the city? And it went viral, right? Everybody kind of watched it. You're like, subhanAllah, it is society that teaches us, it's funny. Society teaches us all these things, right? It's like, you should have long silky hair and extensions and all these things, wigs. They're all like $1 billion industry. But society teaches us how we're supposed to be. And then when we do the right thing, right? You can imagine a Muslim sister doing a video like, I hope. As soon as I watched the video, they did, mashallah, I didn't see that. So imagine if a Muslim sister were to do it, like, that's how life, that's how the message of our way of living can teach people the better way of living, right? It's our responsibility to make Islam very accepted. It's very hard to put on, hijab and like, man, I gotta do this again, and oh my God, and what are people gonna say to me? And what are they? It's a struggle. What is the word? The struggle is real, right? Right? That should be like a hashtag on every hijab, right? Or in trade market. So it's a very difficult thing to do. So we have to be very open in giving this amazing message of Islam and Allah and the Prophet to people in a way that they understand. It's our job, especially for young people, to give that message in that way. Unfortunately, many times we learn Islam in a very demeaning, degrading fashion. And so people be like, man, it's just, get out of my face, I don't want to hear it. And that's very important for us, our community, to change that culture and how we teach Islam. And I think that's more important than how Islam is perceived. As long as we're able to teach it in a way that young people can understand it and fit and it can be them, then I think we'll do a good job. Allahu a'lam. Do I have to finish?
Can I have one more question? Okay. Yes, brother.
How does Islam address the gay situation in this society?
I'm sorry?
The gay situation in this
Oh
society.
man.
Especially now, you have more and more youth doing that.
Yeah.
People who say they're Muslims, I don't see how, they read they read about Lot, and then, they still go the other way. And you have this society saying that you can be born that way, and we know that that's not natural. How do they address that in a manner that doesn't turn away the youth who are confused about the situation?
Very good question. So the question is about the door swinging both ways, and how we can have the door swing only one way. This is for young people that don't need to know what we're talking about. So I think that it's a very, very good question. This is a very big topic. It's a part of a bigger problem that we have, which is really we're an over-sexualized society, right? That's really the bigger problem. The GLBT, whatever, all that stuff. That's a symptom of a greater problem, which is really I can walk by a park in Brooklyn and I can walk by a 5-year-old and he knows like the female anatomy textbook, memorized, saying words that I've never even heard, and he's 5 years old and he's cursing the other 5-year-old, right? And it's like, wow, that's pretty good, kid. And, I'm a biology major, I never heard those terms. So that's really the problem. It's an over-sexualized society, soaked and inebriated and oversaturating every part of our life from everything, right? So that's really the big problem, and we have to find a way to kind of, and this is a part of building, this is an essential part of that soul, the element of the soul. It is really the soul's strength that can fight off, these desires, those desires, those things. It's the strength of a soul that can really shun away a lot of these meek desires, and that's really what it is. Like that goes back to increasing and being able to build faith very strongly. The abilities to grow people's iman, nurture places that are able to grow people's iman, things and projects and people that are able to grow people's iman so they can shun them. Everybody will fall into them a little bit. That's just the way it is. So that's really the bigger problem, and that's a bigger discussion. Now going back to the specific issue of obviously the the gay and lesbian kind of thing, very common. It's very, very prevalent in Muslims today. I've dealt with it many times now. Brothers, sisters, definitely it happens. We can't close our eyes to it. I think it's really, most of the time, it starts with very, very low iman. You can every person that I've dealt with, they don't really understand, Islam well. They haven't practiced Islam, and that's really the big problem to me. Number one. Number two is that really there needs to be support there. For some people, it's really a big problem, and what they need is not somebody to tell them it's haram. It's somebody to help them, deal with the issue, right? Again, and I've said this before, that when Allah told us about the story of Lut alayhi salam, Lut, may Allah have peace and blessings upon him, he was a prophet sent to people that had a problem. He was, number one, again, you need all the elements of da'wah. He was very merciful to them, right? Because he cared about them, right? So it wasn't like he went, okay, you guys, he cared about them so much that he was willing to offer his daughters to them. Now, I have a daughter. She's only 2 years old, 3 years old. I have 2 daughters, but the older one, she's 3 years old. Salah ad-Din is going to marry my daughter. Umar ibn Khattab better come. Because it's my daughter, right? I'm not giving my daughter to nobody. This is my daughter, right? I mean, every man thinks about their daughters that way. Imagine Lut alayhi salam, and this is the amazingness of the Quran, or the message of the prophets. He's offering, that's how much care he had for these people. And they were big problems. So number one, it's definitely a problem. We need all the elements of mercy and care and helping and supporting and patience and being there and nurturing and caring and finding professional ability to help this person through this problem. Number one. Number two,
they might never lose the problem. Whether it's, the whole genetic, nature, nurture aspect, we can go whatever. Allah Azza wa Jalla, we know that Allah doesn't hold us accountable for intentions of things if we don't do that, right? If we have bad intentions, Allah won't destroy us for them unless we act upon them, right? You have to come to acting. So the person is going to have to understand that's their jihad in life. Everybody has a jihad. If you even admit that it's how I am, you still can't do it because God said so, right? That's the way you have to control yourself. Just like a man who has a woman walk by, he has to control himself, right? We could say it's like I have to do something. No, Islam teaches us to control ourselves, and that goes back again to the strength of the soul. Same thing if the person was so convinced that it's who they are, still it's not within the bounds of the Creator of the universe. And we have to kind of ease these people into understanding and coping with that. Obviously, we need counselors and psychologists and a whole bunch of things to help support, and the support mechanism and youth and people. But the one thing we should not do is shun these people, right? Oh my God, I can't believe you're like this. I don't imagine it. Don't come to the masjid, don't walk, don't come near me, don't touch my hand. Lut offered his daughters. We don't even offer our hand. You understand the difference in the amount of understanding of caring about people? And that's very, very important. By the way, also a thing about this is a lot of times, and I've experienced this myself, we Muslims have a big problem, especially guys with guys. But if it's a girl, it's like, that's not that bad, right? It's like a different understanding of this. It's not so disgusting anymore. And it's actually, both are very disgusting. And we should treat them almost in the same way, but each of them is very sensitive and different in nature. The guy is much different than the girl, and each of them need a lot of support and different things. But it's very good questions, Abu Khair. I didn't really give you a lot of answers, because it's nothing that I could say. It's really a lot of things that we need to do to be able to deal with a big problem like that. Jazakallah khair, very good question. I hope I answered the question.
Did it help Brooklyn that you were full-time and dedicated and this
Yes,
is your job?
Yeah.
So why are you not implementing this in different boroughs like?
Wallahi, I'm not sure. You have to,
Can you go to that?
I could. I actually, for the most part, for the brothers just in the leadership, the most in-demand position across the country now is like youth director, youth worker, youth
I mean, the brothers here are doing fantastic.
Yeah, mashallah, very good, as always.
Take credit from them. They do a good
Mashallah,
job.
of course.
That's why you see this
Mashallah,
crowd.
of course.
But
But it's very important. It's very important. Many masajid and communities are now, I think we went through the phase of the masajid, then we went through the phase of the Islamic schools, and now we're coming through the phase of kind of finding things for youth to do, gyms, centers, things like that. And definitely we need people to do that. And we need people to be professional in doing that, and we need them to be, having degrees and being advanced in it, and understanding how to deal with youth. And definitely very, very important. I do encourage, if the community can do that, to push that. Allahu A'lam, definitely. Very important. Any last comments or questions? Guys, I apologize for taking a long time. If there isn't anything else, it was a pleasure being with you guys again. Barakallahu feekum. May Allah bless this masjid, and the brothers and sisters working hard in this masjid. Please continue to come and support and be a part of the programs and activities and help grow the community here, inshallah ta'ala. Inshallah, I'll be back soon, hopefully. Do plan on doing that, but again, it's a pleasure being here. Jazakallah khair. Subhanallah wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.
Takbir. 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 Jazakallah Rami Kawas. Jazakumullah for coming. Inshallah, we have a small gift for Rami Kawas before he leaves Dallas. No, it's a nice hat. Inshallah, before the brothers start leaving, make room for the sisters. They'll be heading down first. And second of all, please, there's still more refreshments on the table, so please feel free to grab some refreshments.
Brothers, stay seated. Just wait 1 second.
Brothers, please stay seated.
Now? الله.